Olá, bom dia a todos, sejam muito bem-vindos a esse dia tão especial que é hoje, uma entrevista com um grande amigo, um grande fotógrafo, mundialmente conhecido, Daniel Kordan, diretamente da Rússia. Vamos discutir sobre o trabalho dele, sobre a sua inspiração, sobre o seu talento e a sua maneira de encantar com suas imagens belíssimas. Tenho certeza que todos vocês conhecem esse trabalho tão consistente, tão bonito que o Daniel faz. E é mais um presente desse nosso evento, essa nossa jornada que está acontecendo nesses últimos dias. Obrigado a todos novamente pela presença. Eu sei que esse é um horário um pouco atípico, porque é meio-dia, mas em função do Daniel estar na Rússia, né, o fuso lá são de 6 horas de diferença daqui. Então, para a gente fazer uma live noturna não ia dar certo, porque ele lá é madrugada, né, obviamente. E é uma oportunidade única, repetindo, porque Daniel é uma pessoa que geralmente não dá muitas entrevistas e ele não é muito público pessoalmente, apenas o seu trabalho. E então, para nós, é uma oportunidade única eu conseguir convencê-lo a estar aqui com a gente hoje para nos enriquecer com a sua arte fotográfica. Vou chamar Daniel aqui. Hello, Daniel.
Hi, Anselmo. Hello, nice to hear from you.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here with us today to join us. Greetings from Brazil, from all the people here from Brazil. Yeah.
And greetings from Russia, from cold Russia, where it's snowing already.
Nice. The photographers here loves your work, your so consistent work, and thank you so much for joining us today. I have sure we will have a great time here with a lot of discussion about landscape photography, and thank you so much again.
You're welcome. Welcome,
Okay.
Anselmo.
Daniel é um fotógrafo de paisagens e, como eu já falei, mora em Moscou, na Rússia, e tem muitos anos aí já de fotografia, conhece os 4 cantos do mundo, as suas paisagens, as suas fotos já, né, são espalhadas por todo o mundo. Your work is spread around the world, all the 4 corners of the world, and you are a very, very respected photographer.
Thanks,
and
man.
your work is very, very inspirational for us here in Brazil, and I have sure around the world. Okay, Daniel. So could you tell us about how did you involve it in photography? Because you were a physician, right? And after a time you give up and start in photography, landscape photography. Could you tell about a little bit about your history, your journey?
Yeah, actually, the start was when I was still a student, and in university, I actually studied quantum physics. So you see, it's quite a big change, right? From quantum physics into photography. Yeah, but what I liked a lot about university, it was a community of people, and we also used to go to mountains. So we had a university climbing club, and we used to go in summer to some Russian mountains, and in winter we were skiing in some wild landscape of Russia, and it was so beautiful and so pristine. It was actually like a scene not to take a camera and not to take a few images with you. So with time, just hiking in mountains, I had already some portfolio with images, and eventually after I graduated at university, I was kind of struggling between some routine job. I just cannot make some routine things. It's impossible for me. It's just my character. I always need to move somewhere and just invite new things. And this portfolio, it actually started to work on me. Yeah, so I started to find my own magazine, my articles, write them on the net, and this is how I get involved, right? So just It's my passion to be outside. Started from hiking, from love with mountains, you know.
Yeah. In the beginning, you use it to photograph everything, or just you start already with landscapes and mountains in the beginning of your career?
I actually experimented a lot in the beginning, and I used to make not only landscape images, but a lot of portraits, even weddings. I even had a wedding
Really?
website.
Weddings?
Yes, yes, because I needed pocket money in university, right?
Oh,
So
right. Yeah.
to sustain my living and to earn my first salary, first money. And of
Uh,
course, I invested all of this money into the photography itself, into some
nice.
new travel exploration. So
Mm-hmm.
first 5 or 6 years, I was just spending money on photography, and
Yeah.
only after it started to get
Yeah.
something back.
Yeah, this
Give
is
back.
important to know,
Mhm.
Daniel, because in the beginning, when some young guys are starting in photography, it's very common to experiment everything in beginning. So
Mhm.
uh, when you go keep going, and we will discovering your your style. It takes a while. It's not so simple. Yeah. Good. Um, Daniel, please, could you? I will share some pictures of you, and then we can discuss some pictures, and you tell about the places, right?
Mhm. Sure,
Good.
absolutely. Let's do it.
Yeah. Can you see the screen?
Mhm.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. I put this picture, the first picture, because that was the place we met in
Yes.
Camargue, South
Yeah.
France, right? It's a beautiful place, yeah, to
Mhm.
a beautiful light and these white horses. Yeah, could you tell us a little bit about this place? I have shared this is a special place to you.
Yeah, it's actually amazing that we meet at this place long ago, because this is one of my most favorite workshops ever in Camargue. So we take the horses and the trucks and we move with them to some beautiful location like the seashore, sand dunes, and horses actually run there. So they run along the shoreline at the most beautiful time of the day. It's sunset, sunrise, when the light is just hitting behind them. So they just, it feels the freedom there. So the horses, they enjoy themselves just buffing in the sea and buffing in the sand afterwards. And these horses, Camargue horses, they are like angels, like, I don't know, like Pegasus flying above the water, right? So it's something unreal. And there's so much power in this moment when the horses, they run. They run for maybe 10, 15 seconds maximum, right?
Yeah,
But it's so much beauty in
yeah,
this moment, so much concentration. So you just
yeah.
never get tired of this.
It's. I remember it's very challenging to get beautiful pictures, but when we have the perfect light and the perfect composition with the horses, everything look like this beautiful. Yeah. And talking about challenging, which place do you think is the most remote place you went, and was difficult to you, a challenging place to you photograph? I have seen you have been in our country a lot in the last months, and some extreme conditions, like some days ago you were in a freezing place, in a frozen place. Could you tell us about these challenges when you
Mhm.
experiment in field?
Yeah, actually, last 2 years during pandemic, I was mainly traveling in my own country, in Russia. I live in a house close to Moscow, about 50 kilometers from Moscow, and I just traveled across my country. It's such a huge country, Russia, that
Yeah,
basically you can travel to Kuril Islands or Kamchatka for 9 hours. You fly over just one country. Imagine that, 9 hours, and you always above just one country. And there are so many wild places, but yeah, you need to hike a lot. You need to take all your gear with you,
Yeah,
basically all the backpacks, all the food with you, and travel for weeks to get to the place to just make photography there. And sometimes you just don't even know what to expect at the place. There are sometimes not even a single picture taken at some places in Russia. And regarding the most remote place, well, I've been recently to Northern Kuril Islands, Northern Kurils, so you need to get there by sailing boat, and there's a lot of storms happening out there. You need to sail about 3 days from Kamchatka, basically just on a small yacht, to very remote islands located between Japan and Russia. So Kuril Islands, they're abandoned and they're super wild, with some Arctic foxes just roaming around. They're not afraid of human. A lot of whales, orca whales as well, and landscape is spectacular. It's like volcanoes in the middle of the sea, and you have all these craters just emerging from the sea, volcanic landscapes. Some of them they're active. So it's like Iceland. Imagine the Iceland will drown, and only the tops of volcanoes will be peering out of the water. So this is how it looks like, Kuril Islands.
wow,
Well, I can talk forever about travels in Russia. You can also watch my recent series about Yamal. It's a bit unusual for me as well, because it's a project not just about landscape, but about people as well. So you can check Yamal series on my Instagram. It's about local cultures, about Nenets people who live the traditional life in the north. So they live among reindeer, and they breed reindeer, and yeah, they wear the traditional clothes all the time, and they completely cut from civilization. So it feels like maybe 5-6 centuries ago. And I spent some time, maybe a week or 2 weeks, like, yeah, more than like 10 days, 12 days with the family, just staying with the families in Nenya's family and migrating with them to the north of Russia. It was freezing -25, -30 Celsius, and we were migrating together, and I was documenting everything with these people. Yes, so they're very,
yeah,
very nice. Mhm. Some of them, they actually barely speak Russian. They have their own language, and they live in this tents. They call chum tents. And one family can have about 4,000 or 5,000 reindeer. So this is their currency. This is their food. And they need to travel with the reindeer to provide them some food. So to find the food and some lichen under the snow in the mountains. So that's why they need to migrate a lot
a
in
lot
winter and summertime.
every time migrating. Yeah,
Mhm. But yeah, I can talk forever about travels in Russia. It's you can always check my Instagram, my stories about the places I go as well.
nice. And it's that place close to the Mongolia, because the
No, no,
face of
no.
the people is very similar to Mongolian people, right?
Yeah, these are kind of Inuit people. These are people of the north. If you check
Oh,
the north of Russia, it's Yamal
north.
region. It's called Yamal. There is
Yeah,
also Yakutia region. All the people, they look a bit like indigenous people, like Greenlandic people, let's say, because historical times, all these people, they actually were using boats. They were migrating from the Arctic, just all along the Arctic, and they stayed there. And these people, they called Nenets, but this is the other side kind of Russia, because Mongolia is the southern border between Russia, and these people live the far north. In fact, they live above the polar circle. So we
oh,
actually saw northern lights. It's a little bit of insight about my next series of Instagram, because I'm going also to show some northern lights above all these beautiful mountains and all the people homes called chum tents.
oh, so nice. I can't even imagine. So difficult is this kind of a style of life. I think. Yeah.
Well, I'd say our life in the cities sometimes feels more difficult, yeah, because we have this pandemic, coronavirus, QR codes right now, and these people, they actually live the simple life, but this is a happy life. And I talk to them a lot, and we spend a lot of hours just talking together. But these people seem to be very like open to the nature. They seem to be very happy. Let's say
Oh,
here I come to the city and we're like on a burden. What to do? We have the flat, the family to feed, and these people just they live the happy life. They have the sense of freedom. So there is a lot to learn from them as well.
nice. Good to know. All right. Okay, from Russia to Tuscany.
Yeah, let's go. Time machine. Yeah, let's launch it.
Okay. This is Russia in this autumn period?
No, this is actually springtime. That's April. So I don't know exact name of these flowers here. Maybe some lily flowers, whatever, but they emerge usually before poppy flowers, which is so popular in Tuscany. They emerge around mid-April. And yeah, regarding this image, it's kind of classical landscape with focus stacking, right? You have amazing course. Anselmo, I'm pretty sure you also discussed things about focus stacking there. It's yeah, very popular technique among photographers when you focus on different points and then you kind of merging together all these images in layers, right? And you have infinite depth of field. So you have both flowers in the background in focus. It just makes it three-dimensional, and yeah, you want to be there, you want to touch these flowers, right?
Yeah, it's a great technique when you have a very close subject of you and you want everything focused from beginning to the end of your scene. Nice. Here, Tuscany as well. Classic landscape from Tuscany. Beautiful light. Tuscany has such beautiful light, isn't it, Daniel?
Yes, I love Tuscany a lot. I started my international workshops from Tuscany because it's the place you stay there just in front of this landscape and you feel it like a painting. You feel like you stand just in front of the painting, not just the actual nature, because it's so perfect. It was polished for centuries. Farmers polished it, and it's just fantastic place to perfect your compositions. Because from one spot you can just take the telephoto lens, the long lens, compress the space, and have so many different compositions, angles, and just practice your eye and your mind on some beautiful compositions with classical rules like leading lines and tonal perspective. So there's a lot to learn from this landscape.
Cypress, so beautiful. This is the classic picture from that movie Gladiator. Yeah.
It's not. No. It's not.
No.
It's my little secret. No, it's not the same place. I know that all these villas actually look a little bit the same, but it's just a typical landscape there. You have the villa on the top of the hill, but all the places, if you will be there for many times, I was in Tuscany maybe for 20 times already, 20 or 25 workshops in total guided in Tuscany. Yes, and then you start to distinguish all these villas even from the very first visit. And this place is located near Buonconvento. So if you ever will be in Tuscany, it's not Valdorcia. It's the next valley. It's closer to Siena than Pienza. It's near Buonconvento. It's a fantastic place as well.
Okay. So if you guys want to see that place, you need to do the workshop with Daniel Kordan. It's secret.
Yeah, I think many people know about that, but yeah, you won't see so many photographers there at all.
Okay, this is Tuscany too? Yes, Tuscany.
Yeah.
I see the cypress on the...
It is.
Beautiful flowers in spring.
Yeah, Tuscany is not only about telephoto lens, right? So here I used 14mm lens and focus stacking as well. If you come mid-May to late May, you can capture poppy flowers. So they really make landscape very different. And
Yeah, the
well,
foreground is so strong in this picture, so beautiful.
mhm.
Yeah. And here, Slovenia.
Yes, this is the Herzlich Strasse or Herzlich Valley, so-called, basically translated from German German language as Heart Road, the shape of the heart. You can see it,
Yeah.
from
It's,
above, from one
yeah.
angle. Unfortunately, actually, it was in Slovenia this October, and unfortunately, they chopped down the vineyards on the foreground. So maybe in 5 years or so, you'll be able again to make the picture like this. But for now, they chopped down the foreground.
Cool. Okay, and Japan here.
Yeah, this image is actually from Japan, from Hiroshima. Again, it's a little secret spot. It's not in Kyoto, it's not in Tokyo, because in Japan, if you plan some trip for cherry blossom, it's very crowded. It usually happens in beginning of April or end of March, around Kyoto area, around Osaka, and you need to find some small places. So this is actually what I do for my tours in Japan. I try to be not mainstream, but go and find to the outskirts and find some small and beautiful places where you find less people. The same here. It's Arashiyama in Kyoto, but it's not April anymore. Obviously, it's mid-November. Actually, I'm
November.
supposed to be there right now, today.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be
Oh,
there, but Japan is still
really?
closed for
It's still
visitors.
closed, right? Oh, yes, it
Yes.
is. Cool. Fuji Mount.
Mount Fuji in Japan,
Mhm.
Fujisan. There's a lot
No,
of lakes around Mount Fuji, so-called Fuji Five Lakes area, and this was Tanuki Lake.
beautiful.
Tanuki. Mhm.
Yeah, the cloud over the mountain is
Yeah,
so
the
unique.
hat. Yes, the hat on top.
Yeah. Okay, Daniel. When you are in field, how do you how do you feel the composition you want? You go before some hours before to prepare some compositions, to look around, to explore, to looking for beautiful compositions. How do you have your behavior like photographer in the field? So I think this is important to tell to our audience, mainly the guys they are starting now. Yeah, it's very important. It's very important to explore before, right?
Yes, I can give a few tips how to explore better and actually get better result from good preparations. First thing you need to do is to scout for places you go. Basically, you need to make your homework, like study what other photographers did already at location. Of course, you can repeat some pictures, or you can just find something new. Sometimes you can find a good composition, but maybe just some tourist taking a picture. You can find it
Yeah.
on Instagram, on Flickr, maybe 500 px. So you make your
Okay.
homework and study the scope of work already that was made before your visit. And once you are there at location, you need to be kind of flexible, right? You need to understand weather forecast, light conditions. So for the weather forecast, I use Windy application, Windy, because you need to understand the clouds, you need to understand the wind and cloud coverage, let's say, not only just at the spot where you are, but at the sunrise spot, if the clouds are open there where the sun is rising. And the next thing you need to understand is the light conditions. You can use PhotoPills. Yeah, PhotoPills applications, photographers ephemeris application, and you can understand where the sun is rising. If you get the Milky Way or the full moon, which will abstract from Milky Way shots. So you actually do a lot of planning. And when people say to you, just Daniel, you get so lucky, then you have this full moon rising above red sailboat. Well, I'm kind of laughing here because definitely this shot was planned. We planned
Plan,
to get there
plan
at full
before.
moon. Yeah, we planned to bring the boat exactly just opposite location when where the moon is actually rising, and we wait for it. We wait for this moment. So you need a lot of planning and a lot of
Yeah,
patience
yeah.
here.
We talk 2 days ago about how important is to planning before. If you want to
Mhm.
have such a beautiful composition, you have to plan before, because you can put the sun or the, as you told before, as you said, the moon or the Milky Way on the right place over the mountains you want. So it's very important to plan before. Yeah. Um, okay. We go again to our presentation. Where is this place, Daniel?
That's Kamchatka. If people
Kamchatka,
ask me where to
Russia.
go in Russia, just name the first place. If you go to Russia, let's say to just one place, where to go? And the answer is always Kamchatka. It's the most stunning nature and landscape place for photographers because there are so many volcanoes, like dozens of volcanoes. Some of them they erupting sometimes, like Krychevskaya volcano on this picture. It's erupting
Yeah.
maybe each 3 or 4 years like this. You have the lava field, and then there are lots of nice locations around. There are some small lakes. There are volcanic black fields all around. There are a lot of flowers in summertime. And I've been there around 5 times with photo workshops as well. And always people bring some images that win contests. And wow, just incredible place to be. It's a place of wild landscape and wildlife as well. If you actually like to shoot the bears, foxes, Arctic foxes, reindeer, and deer, this is the place to go. So you have a lot of wildlife there. It's like a bear paradise. So most of the
Wow.
images you see with bears around the world,
Mm-hmm.
they were made there in Kamchatka.
Really?
Literally, almost every day you meet some bears. You see some bears in the pastures and around your camp sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
This is the place.
Oh, so nice. Fantastic, fantastic picture. I even know that were volcanoes in activity in Russia. This is
Yeah,
very
yeah,
nice.
it's a lot of activity, like geysers in Kamchatka, geysers erupting as well permanently, and sometimes some volcanoes also erupt from time to time. But yeah, a lot of photographers in Russia, they just kind of, it's closed community. So because of language barrier, they're not publishing that much on the
Yeah.
international
Mm-hmm.
uh, audience. So
Oh,
maybe just from myself or from a few other landscape photographers, you can know that something erupting there in Kamchatka.
yeah. And
Mm.
uh,
This
once
is my
we
day.
once we talk about our back country, I would like to ask you and discuss how interesting and fascinating is our own country. We can, I think, this pandemic period we had, this opened so possibilities to us to travel to the places closer to us and discover some some beautiful places that we could even imagine before. Me, for example, was I before the pandemic period, I was worried about the places around the world, and when the pandemic came, I could discover some beautiful places here in Brazil, new places. And I saw you do that too. You did that too. You came you came out with a lot of wonderful pictures from your own country, right?
Yes, it's some people complain that we can travel internationally. Yeah,
Yeah,
but you need to take advantage as well of the situation. You need to adapt to the situation.
yeah,
And you also did the right thing. You filmed such amazing course, landscape travel course all this time. And definitely a lot of people will enjoy this course a lot.
nice. Indonesia here. Hi, Daniel. I think we lost our connection. Hi, Daniel.
Yes, yes.
Oh,
I'm here.
sorry. Okay. I was asking about the displays, particular.
Mhm.
Is
This
South Asia?
Yeah, this is Indonesia, actually. This is Sumba Island. I call them dancing trees of Sumba Island. This is actually mangrove trees that grow on the shore of Sumba Island. Sumba is not very popular island, let's say. Everyone knows about Bali, right? Like Bali Island, it's a good place for vacation, for Russian people as well. But Sumba is just 1 hour flight from Bali, and it's totally wild place. There are almost no hotels there. So what I did, I just fly over from Bali and take a scooter and drive a scooter to this place. And there's a lot of planning here as well, because you see that you can take these images with reflections at sunset,
Yeah.
maybe just 1 day per month. This is it. So it's like, to continue this question about the planning, it's a very good example,
Yeah.
because the high tide, when it's low tide, actually, you have just all the seaweed. So you don't have reflections, you have the black kind of seaweed on the foreground. And then when high tide starts to come, on the high tide, you actually almost just half the waist, sometimes up to the shoulder, in the sea already. There's a lot of difference
Oh,
between elevation between the tides. So there is a certain moment, maybe 10-15 minutes, when the sun set, it corresponds to the beginning of high tide. And only this little time you can take this kind of images. The images with perfect reflections.
nice.
And yeah,
Yeah.
I just planned it looking at high tides. You have it a lot in Brazil, right? And in Portugal. There are a lot of seascapes, and you need a
Yeah.
lot of planning according to
Yeah.
the wave charts.
Exactly.
So you
Exactly. You need to
so you need
plan
to
too.
check the
You
waves.
see, yeah, check when the tide is low and the perfect time, and if the sunrise or sunset. Nice. And this style is so unique, so beautiful, because we have a different composition here. The main subject, is placed in the center of the image, and we have the perception of abstract image. It's really nice.
You break the rules, right?
Yeah, you break the
You
rules.
just place the subject in the middle, you have reflections in the middle as well, just to enhance the symmetry. So if you know the rules, you can break them, right?
Yeah, very nice. Okay, here's a beautiful landscape from there too.
Yeah, it's also from Indonesia, but from different island. That's called Tumpak Sivu waterfall. And I shoot a lot from drones as well. So I take always with me, I was first shooting on Phantom 4, then I changed to Mavic 2 Pro, then changed to Mavic Air 2S, and now actually expecting Mavic 3 to have my hands on that and continue using the drone. So use it a lot as a tool for landscape photography. Here, no viewing platforms, no viewing grounds when you can see the waterfall just like this underneath the volcano. So this is just composition-wise. you also need to think a lot about composition when you're flying a drone as well.
Yeah, the first time I saw this image, I thought that was fake because it's so unique place as well.
Yeah, you can check on Instagram, right? And also there are some videos when just I fly and people fly above the waterfall. This place is just like a hidden paradise. It's a
Nice.
beautiful place. You can actually even go down underneath this waterfall, and yeah, it feels like a bit like Iguazu Falls.
Yeah, so cool.
Yes.
Oh, here, beautiful. Yeah, this is a volcano crater. It's a
That's the same island. It's Java Island as in the previous image. But this picture is from the ground, and this volcano is called Aegean. There is actually interesting story behind the Aegean volcano, because down there on the left, you can see some steam going on, and
yeah.
some steaming land. And this is the place where people, they dig the sulfur. So there are actually guys that come down there, they dig the sulfur in the night, and they put on their shoulders the baskets with about 70 to 80 kilogram of sulfur, and they
Wow.
carry all this 80 kilogram of sulfur up to the crater edge and
The
down
hill.
to the nearest village.
Wow.
That's incredible. They paid like $7 or $6 per day or
Wow,
so.
that's
So this is
great.
kind of the hardest job in the world.
Yeah.
So if you ever will think that your office work is boring or you are currently doing, always remember about these guys. Recall these guys will sulfur like 80 kilogram. I tried to actually pull the basket. It's just impossible. It's so heavy. Just to take it out of the land, of the ground. It's
Yeah.
insane job.
How about the
Yeah,
smell? The smell in that place.
yeah, the
Do you...
smell is actually, you need a mask. So
Oh, okay.
even before pandemic, yeah, over there you need a special mask against the sulfur gases. You know, this one
Yeah.
professional with like a double basket filtering here. And you need to put the mask because otherwise you won't be able to breathe. But these guys will with sulfur. They're not using the mask at all. So they're going without the mask. And as they said to me, the average life, the maximum life they get is about 30, 35 years. Then they like become disabled or they just simply die.
Nice.
That's a crazy job. Yeah.
It's very interesting composition here too. There's a strong foreground with these curves of the tree doing kind of frame right around the crater. So beautiful, nice.
Yeah, there are a lot of dead trees. So we just wanted to kind of make the metaphor about this deadly place with this composition as well. So I was looking not for the living trees, but instead for graphical dead trees to just create this mood that I had just talking to this crazy guys with sulfur
Yeah,
baskets.
it's a picture that have a lot of geologic information and have design. So beautiful composition, very very nice. I love that picture. Okay, here we are in Greenland.
Yes, that's the Greenland, and the sea actually interesting light here because the sun was obviously it was behind, yes, and it was hitting just very very softly the iceberg, and the moon was rising, so you can see this alpine glow, the so-called Venus belt. When you have transition between the pink sky, it's like the shadow of the Earth, right? You can see the first shadow of the Earth crossing, and the iceberg itself was quite beautiful. It looks like some monk is staying in front of the mountain. And then we just took the PhotoPills application and planned where we want the moon to
The
be.
moon.
Yeah, so
Perfect.
we were drifting, we were positioning the yacht. I was standing on the yacht with sailing boat with the telephoto lens, and it was shot on about 400mm telephoto lens. So basically, just close up, very close, closely shot to compress the space and have this huge moment in the frame.
Cool. Here we have some beautiful pictures from Newton.
That's Lofoten Islands in Norway.
Lofoten. The Northern Lights, so nice.
Yeah, actually, this is Reine village in Norway. I also was guiding there for about 7 years, my photography workshops. And this is the best place on earth to capture northern lights. Some people can say this is Iceland as well. Iceland is also an amazing place to get northern lights. But Lofoten's my favorite. Lofoten's located on 69 north. That means they're even more north than Iceland, so there are more chances to capture northern lights. And there's a lot to shoot. There are a lot of mountains, nice small villages, fjords, and yeah, quite diverse place to get to.
Antarctica or Greenland?
It's Antarctica.
Antarctica.
It was my super special trip because it was my long-lasting dream. I was reading a lot of books about exploration of Arctic and Antarctica, like Shackleton exploration, Amundsen, Nansen. And it was my dream to get some boat like this to Antarctica. And then I cooperated with Bark Europa. It's a Dutch vessel here. And I had the photo tour with 50 guests on board. So 50 photographers, instead of just like trainees, because they use this vessel, you can actually buy the tour there anytime you want. But this is mostly to train yourself, like to train how to steer the wheel, the helm, how to push the ropes. And here we organize a specific photography tour. So people were able to take the Zodiac boats outside the park and take some photos of the boat itself against all the icebergs. So this is how we created all these images.
I think the experience here must be so incredible.
Yeah, it's the like best way to visit Antarctica. Yes.
Yeah, I think we can. I think everybody have wrote the Shackleton book, and after I finished the book, I just go to Antarctica because the book is wonderful. Yeah, and it's like the experience must be very, very interesting. Okay, when your workshop to Antarctica is open again, will be open again?
Yeah, actually, I have good news that Antarctica is open. Basically, it's not about Antarctica, but about Argentina and Chile. Yeah, Chile and Argentina just opened up in November for international tourists. So we will go back to Antarctica upcoming January. So this is just amazing news for me and my tour company.
Okay, just tell me because I want to enjoy to Antarctica. Very nice.
You're welcome. Yes.
Okay. Oh, here we are in South America. Our beautiful Patagonia.
Patagonia, yes. The most beautiful mountains in the world are there in Patagonia.
So dynamic place, right, Daniel?
Yeah, you see, this is actually the picture taken in daytime. Yeah, it's not sunset or sunrise, but still it's quite interesting because the Peo Lake, it's the Peo Lake and the Torres del Paine mountain range in the park, and only in daytime you can see this color of the water. And when it's stormy, you use the polarizer, you use CPL filter, you cut reflections, and you have this crazy color. So I tell you, it's no Photoshop here because people tell me, you oversaturated the color. If you see it by your own eyes, it looks like this. It's just incredible color of this lake. It has some sediments from glaciers, like have some copper, and because of that, the water has this crazy color.
Yeah, it's a very beautiful, pristine color. I went to Patagonia in 2016, I think, and
Mhm.
I spent a lot of time around these lakes here. So beautiful places. So
Mhm.
beautiful places,
I can
right?
imagine. That's
Yeah.
my most favorite mountains in the world.
Hmm. Yeah. Here, Bolivia, South America too.
Mhm.
Hmm.
That's so
Which, which
unique.
which app do you use to often use to plan the Milky Way, Daniel? Photopills or ephemeris?
Photopills, yes, I use photopills.
Hmm. Nice. This a unisolar. I remember today. I cried when I saw this place. So wonderful place. Yeah,
Yeah, and it's
I got,
actually
I
crazy
got.
experience because when you stay there and you just drive on the salt flats that are flooded, you switch off all the lights, you come out of the car, and you feel like you're in the space. Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's like your brain is
crazy.
just collapsing. Yeah, crazy. You make a step and you feel like you will fall down because the stars are everywhere. So obviously the Milky Way is reflected in the water, and you literally feel yourself like you're just floating in the open space. So you can save some money. No need to pay to Bezos and Elon Musk for the flight into space. Just go to Bolivia and just experience open space up there in
It's
Bolivia.
wonderful, wonderful, absolutely crazy place. Uh-huh. I think here's Korea,
Yeah, that's south of
North
Korea.
Korea. Hmm.
Yeah, there's an interesting thing about this image because the fog, you see the fog that came,
Hmm.
actually beneath the fog, below it, it's Seoul. It's a 10 million city out there. If you capture the same image without the fog, you will have a lot of buildings, you will have a lot of construction on the left side. So this is, as far as I remember, it's called Dead on Sun. Maybe I'm wrong with the Korean names, but this place is just 1 hour hike from Seoul. And I just can't get it because this morning was so amazing that I was alone at this place. And all 10 million people, they were sleeping down there in the city. So it's just can't imagine that.
Nice. Let me talk about this fog here. Fog is so interesting element to produce atmosphere, to give the deep in our pictures, right, Daniel?
Hmm. I love the fog.
I
Yes,
love the
it's
fog too.
yes.
I love. Yeah, people in the beginning may think that fog can ruin your image, but no. If you have a fog in our picture, you need to be ready, because when the fog start to spread, you will have so wonderful opportunities for unique pictures. I always tell that to my students. It's very important. Okay, here we are in where is this place?
This is Baikal Lake in Russia, in
In
Siberia.
Russia.
It's
So
actually
nice.
from this image, the series from Baikal Lake. They were one of the first that went viral with me about 10 years ago because we visited a very special way. We skated on Baikal Lake. So I had a skating trip on about 500 kilometers skating on Baikal Lake ice. And we were camping on the ice and just 3 weeks of non-stop skating and visiting different locations in the wild again with the sledges, all the camping equipment, everything with us.
Wow. How many nights do you spend in this place?
3 weeks skating.
3 weeks.
Three
Wow.
weeks, yes.
Wow. Wow. Very nice. And here,
That's a drone image from Socotra. It's my most recent this year's expedition in April to Socotra Island in Yemen. It was a long-lasting dream to come there. It's the place, just a paradise for endemic trees, like dragon blood trees or desert rose trees. You can see the white desert, the most beautiful in the world, maybe. Yeah? Like Linsa Maranhesa is still waiting for us, right?
Yeah, this is because you don't know yet the Lençóis Maranhenses.
Yeah,
You'll
yes,
be
of
here.
course.
Yeah, you'll be here. Don't worry. Very soon.
I can
Yes.
imagine, yeah.
Yeah, it's a unique place. It's very, very similar. The color of the water, but in Lençóis, it's not the sea, it's the lagoons. It's not salt waters. Okay. Oh, here the trees. Yeah.
Yes, it's a desert rose or it's a small baobab look laking tree. Yes.
Oh, and let's talk about your beautiful project to photograph cultures, Daniel. I saw that you told me before you have this project some years ago. You to photograph the cultures around the world. It's so beautiful project, right?
Yeah, I actually continue shooting this project in Russia as well with some indigenous cultures, the cultures that they're actually on the edge of extinction. Because with the modern changing world, basically all the people, they become the same. They just the color, the character, they just start to fade. And many cultures, they just almost on the edge of extinction because of that. And here is Mongolia, eagle hunters, eagle keepers. So they use golden eagles like this to hunt for them, hunt for small animals, for foxes, for rabbits. Then they use the meat, they use the fur of the small animals to get the clothes and just also to use in their homes as well. So they actually live like this in the steppe outside of all cities, civilization, just in the wild, only hunting. And golden eagles, they provide the sustainable living there in the steppe.
Nice. Do you think that civilizations are going to disappear, Daniel? I know it's in risk of that. Here in Brazil, we have the Indians. Yeah, some we have a lot of groups of Indians here in Brazil, and some groups already are extincted. Do you think these groups are going to be extinct in the future?
What I think that we as photographers, we need to talk about them and show the beauty of these people. Then maybe all the people around the world, they will see these pictures and they will want to protect them, to preserve these cultures. Because
Yeah.
otherwise, what's happening, what I see visiting them, they tend just to go to the cities. They tend to abandon their traditional culture. Let's say young generations. They all got internet, they got Wi-Fi, signal. Sometimes, yeah, and they see what's happening in the outside the world. They can easily find some job in a town. So young people, they just go to the city, and that's it. He just kind of lost there, and soon this person will lose his personality and forget about his culture, about his history. That happened a lot actually in Kenya. I also had some images from Kenya, from Samburu Maasai tribes, and a lot of Maasai people, because of the social pressure from the government, from national parks, they were just forced to go out to the city and abandon things they like. Things they treasure in their life, like traditions passing generations to generations.
Nice. Do you plan to come to Brazil to photograph some Indians?
Yeah, I actually hope so. When we go to Peru, I have already planned in Peru some extent of our trip together with you next year when I actually photograph local cultures as well. But we can also do something in Brazil as well, certainly. In Amazon, there are a lot of tribes like this, just also need a lot of scouting preparations. So we'll see what we can do there.
Nice. We'll have some good opportunities here to do that. Nice. Let me show you the Kenya people, right?
Yeah, the Samburu tribe in the north of Kenya.
So nice. Here in Russia again.
Yeah, that's Russia. It's from my exploration this year in the Ural Mountains in Russia.
Yeah, so huge place, Russia. Really, a lot of different environments. Very nice.
Yeah, from deserts to some jungles to northern lights. That's just insane. Yeah, so much variety in Russia.
Yeah, Brazil is the same way. It's a huge place, a lot of different environments. We can find of this kind of places here, but not the aurora, the northern lights. No. Yeah. Russia. Here it's Oregon, but no.
No, it's Russia again. No, it's not Oregon.
Very similar.
Yes, it is.
Okay, Daniel. I think we are good with all that beautiful portfolio. It's very, very beautiful portfolio, very consistent, so strong. Okay, Daniel, could you do some tips to the photographers that are starting photography now, because they have a lot of doubts about some initial techniques and tips of composition. What can we say to them to start to stimulate them to improve their photography and do not give up in the beginning?
Yeah, there are a few tips because I know I just passed all this way myself from zero to where I am right now. And the first tip is to actually practice in your backyard, because there are a lot of nice places around our homes as well. And
Really?
around the place where I live, let's say around Moscow, there are a lot of nice forests, nice rivers. You can always just capture some nice conditions like sunrises, the fog, maybe some foliage, flowers, whatever. So just a playground for you to practice. And again, just be bold with colors and be bold with styles in the beginning. Maybe landscape is not for you. Maybe you will go into portraits, but you need to experiment as much as possible in different genres.
Nice.
And then the tip, of course, another one there are a lot of courses right now. Let's say, Anselmo, you got amazing course. Then I have my own course, let's say. So if people will watch these courses of photographers, the style they like, and then apply into practice, then it's much better than scouting in the net for like hundreds of different books or different videos on YouTube. And it's much better to learn from one person than apply it on practice, maybe learn from a couple more photographers, and then you can assemble your own style. But before you do that, you must practice on maybe 1,000 of images, practice your editing. And once you get this editing of 1,000 images, then everything will go kind of automatical. Then you always need to produce new ideas, because in landscape photography, it's not only about just going and making postcard, but it's also about fresh and new ideas, some unusual project, some maybe combination between cultures, landscape, or some people and landscape. Nowadays, you also need to be a kind of marketing person as well, right? You need not only to be able to photograph landscape, but to be able to make your own social networks and engage your audience. So you need to be present in social networks and publish your images as much as possible, to be there, to have some feedback from the audience, publish not just in social networks, but probably make exhibitions as well and print your images to see them kind of real life on the paper as well. So here are a few tips just randomly that came to my mind about your question.
Cool. I think we need to tell them, do not worry about the social media, because today everybody is worried about the social media, how to impress the audience in social media. Don't worry about that, because when you you grow up, your work is a good work, you are doing well, your work is going to be recognized as a good work. So don't worry about the social media to repeat the same work of some photographers already have. Don't worry about that.
Yes, it's all about the happiness, about the joy, what you're doing.
Yeah.
So just sometimes you need to read something, but filter all the information you get, right? Just the most essential key here is just enjoy what you're doing. This is it. Always enjoy and always have this passion to photography, then everything will happen.
Cool. These last days, I am discussing about the how passionate we are with landscape photography, and our intention in the field, like photographers, is try to traduce our impressions, our feelings in field to a photograph. Do you think like that, Daniel?
Yeah.
You try to traduce your feelings, the storytelling, how to do a storytelling image, right? Okay. Can I ask you some questions from our audience? No problem?
Yes, of course. Go ahead.
Okay. Let me start in the beginning. A lot of kind words to you. Oh. Can you see?
Yeah, I see it on the bottom. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, nice to hear.
Okay.
Olá.
Fera in Portuguese is kind of a lion. It's you are kind of
all right.
a wild animal. You are so good.
Okay.
Let me see some question here. People asking about your workshops in Brazil. I think you have some plans to do that in the future, right?
Yeah, I hope so. So first I need to scout and actually travel with you, Anselmo. You will show me your beautiful country as well. And then I'll definitely come and teach people. Because every time I come to the place, first I need to spend a lot of time to scout, and only after I can bring some people when I already know what to show to the audience, right?
Good. Oh, people saying that it's a here I have a question. Can you see that? The question? Yeah.
Yeah. Cities in Tuscany as base. Yeah, this is Pienza town. That's the place you need to stay. And not the city itself, it's actually small villages out there. And I suggest to stay the Tuscany style, to stay in the villa. They're so-called agriturismo. Agriturismo, it's like a small villa with 4 or 5 rooms. So you just stay there like in bed and breakfast. And well, in the morning you can go outside of the villa with a cup of coffee, cappuccino, and have all the scenery all around you. So just avoid all the hotels in the towns, small hotels. They're really like tiny, but just stay in agriturismo instead.
Mm-hmm. Daniel, do you usually organize and lunch workshops in Moscow or St. Petersburg or something somewhere else in Russia?
In Russia, I have workshops in Kamchatka and Baikal Lake. So that's what we have every year. And from year to year, I just add and change some new places. So you can always visit my website, danielkordan.com,
Yeah.
and also check for some workshops in Russia. You can also sign up for a newsletter because a lot of trips they actually sold out just the moment I send a newsletter. So sometimes I bring just 5-6 people with me only for some expeditions. So for new places as well.
Yeah. Kamchatka as well?
And in Kamchatka, I have workshop every year. Even for next year, I'll have 2 of them in different locations, different places. So you're welcome, guys, of course.
Someone here is asking about the stacking focus. As Daniel said before, as when we have a scene with a very close foreground, and we can use the stacking.
Yeah, I get the question. Focus stacking is one thing. The soft look of the images is another thing. So focus stacking, we get to have all the details in the image. Yeah, like foreground, background, all perfectly sharp. But when everything is sharp, it's not always good, right? When you have this HDR rough image. But I have my special editing style. Well, actually, I explain it a lot in my own course. If you check Kordan Landscapes, you find a few courses there, different ones. And the key idea that using color overlays. So basically, I try to have images in very soft style and using overlay, using different colors, just understanding the source color, the source of the light color, the shadow color, direction of the light. And I have my own techniques like Orton glow that we use a lot in landscape photography as well to soften the images. I don't have black point, let's say, in most of my images. So I try to shift the black point. But other than that, guys, you're also welcome to check my own course as well. And I have the full workflow explained over there as well.
I was about to say that Daniel has a lot of workshop with post-processing his website. Please check his website and you find out wonderful workshops about the image treatment. I think you answered this question because it's kind of
Yeah, it's about softening effects like color overlays or black point rise up or Orton effect. So it's of course it's hard to just explain it on hands. So guys, just go and check the course and repeat it as well. Yeah, that's the best solution.
Yeah, people asking about your drone brand, your model. It's a Mavic Pro 2, right?
Well, now I was using Air 2S for last half a year, Mavic Air 2S. And now definitely I'm changing to Mavic 3. It looks like a beast. It looks like amazing drone. It's not yet here in Russia, but once it's here, I definitely grab one.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's a good question here, Daniel. I think it's time. When you are going to launch a book?
Sorry, Anselmo, you frozen a bit. Can you repeat? Translation?
Yeah. I have a great question here. How are you going to launch a book?
Oh yeah, it's a good question. Yes. Yeah. I actually, planning to write a book. First book will be on composition. So trying to get a lot of examples there and explain composition on different examples. So definitely one day going to do that.
Nice. Yeah, I plan to release a book as well, but I think I need to experiment more before, because for me a book is a different art. I need to put my feelings inside the book, my unique perspective. It's not time yet. But I
Yeah,
will do that.
behind all the educational material we make, that's a lot of work to do. Let's say to film one course, I'm filming now the third part of my big course, and it took me 1 month to film it. And then last 2 weeks I was filming in studio as well. So it just so much work to put into these courses or books. Yeah, just it's not that easy. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, Marcio is asking about the Milky Way in Uyuni. Oh, January and February is not a good month to go to Uyuni because the water is a little high.
Yeah. January is bad time actually, because you
April,
you can stuck there in the water, right? So it's too
yeah.
much of the water. So suggest to go maybe end of February, beginning of March. That's the
Yeah,
best time
beginning of
for you.
March, from March.
Mhm.
And in this month here in South of America, we don't see the galactic core too. So just after March as well.
Yeah, I think actually I shot these images in April, in fact.
April.
Yeah, these Milky Way shots, they were made in April, but in April, just by accident, we found the flooded part. And just most of the part of Uyuni, it was dry. It was
It's
just
dry.
maybe it looked like a big lake,
Already,
and
yeah,
we
already.
wrote down the GPS coordinates, and then in the night we found this place again. But other than that, it just was pure luck in April.
Let me see that one. Can you see that comment?
Yeah. Let me read on the phone, smartphone.
Cool. It's just a comment. I have a question here about the storytelling.
Yeah, the storytelling actually, as you see, it's not just the pure landscape, right? It's also try to include some people, boats, a bit of culture in the story. It just, we see, you just show me every single image and I can tell some story behind each one. And it's always like this, a good image, if you show it, it always has a story behind. And I travel a lot, and first I was shooting just pure landscape, and soon I understand that landscape, it always goes with some local indigenous people that live in this landscape, and they can tell you far more about this land that you can actually see by your own eyes. So this is how I come to this idea, about not just the pure landscape, but combination between the people that actually live there in harmony of the nature. And there's a lot to learn from these people. And I think this is the good way to preserve our planet as well, to learn a lot from traditional cultures and be the way that they live.
Yeah. Kennedy talks here in his question about innate talent. I think it's about training. And of course, we like photographers, we have our experience, our culture, and these little important things we put inside our picture. Everybody puts inside some of you in our, we put some of we in our pictures. And but photography, a good photography is training, learning, and training, learning, training, practicing. Right, Daniel?
Yeah, it's a lot about practice, guys. Basically, if you will be doing photography 1 or 2 hours per day, let's say, I'm pretty sure in 1 or 2 years, you'll succeed. So just never, ever abandon the thing you love a lot and you have the passion. Even if you're not able to go somewhere outside, maybe for like a month, 2 months, then just read book about photography or just watch the course, maybe edit some images. But anyway, you must do it every day, a little bit to kind of throw the wood in the fire, to keep the fire going. So this is the key idea here.
Good. And don't worry about the bad image, the garbage image, because all of us came from the field with bad images, and the good ones are going to you are going to have the good ones. So don't worry about the bad images, about the
Yeah,
mistakes.
absolutely.
That's normal.
You need to be confident in what you're doing. Exactly. And a lot of people they're afraid to make mistakes. But this is how we learn,
Normal.
right? This is how we learn on the mistakes.
Okay. Someone is asking about the mega pack in Black Friday of
For
your.
sure. Yes. Yes, I will
Nice.
do it. Exactly.
Good. So wait. Here about Japan. Daniel, how did you manage to do the incredible series of of your photos in Japan in such a
Yeah.
busy places like
Yeah. To just tell you the
a
story
long
because
exposure? Did you do a
we just
long exposure like 5 minutes and take the people?
no. I'm just very persistent with my groups. We actually come to this place, to Arashiyama Bamboo Grove, about 2 hours before sunrise. Obviously, you don't need sunrise there, but you need just to take the spot. And I come with my group. It's usually 12 to 14 people. We stay in 2 rows. And if someone else comes later, he was just forced to come nearby or just do not go in the frame. That's all.
Mhm.
So we just take the spot and we make long exposures. Basically, when the sun is rising, then there will be a lot of people. And just after 7 a.m. or so, it will be crowded. So we use long exposures in the dusk when there are
Yeah.
still no people. That's it.
Yeah. Some places have a lot of people, and you need to be clever to use some techniques to get the people out and
Yeah. Yeah.
to
I'd say
acquire.
this place is interesting, but it's not the best in Japan, right? It's a little bit uh, kind of too popular in some
Yeah.
way. There are a lot of beautiful places in Japan, much less crowded, where you can actually feel the mood of Japan as well.
Nice. Okay. Last question is asking about. Tripod. Yes, you use. Yeah, I use, and I know you use tripod in about our pictures, right, Daniel?
Yeah, of course. Actually, I hate the tripods. Yeah. But well, we are forced to use it, of course, for long exposures. And I'm actually quite happy to use the recent cameras. I use Nikon Z7 cameras, and they have quite good stabilization system, the sensor stabilization and the optical VR stabilizer as well. So if I have shutter speeds like 1/10, 1/20 of a second, then I usually don't use tripod. But for shutter speeds 1 second and more, I do a lot of long exposures as well with filters. So definitely I'm using one. I'm using one from Jitsa. It's Jitsa Traveler tripod.
Yeah,
It's lightweight, just about 1 kilogram. It's perfect for hikes.
great stuff. Great stuff. All right, I think we are done. I don't want to take your time anymore, Daniel. Yes, it was a great time here, Daniel. I enjoyed so much. Thank you again. I have no words to thank you so much. Thank you so much, really. And I am praying we this year we can do our trip to Peru, because me and Daniel are planning a trip to Huayhuash in Peru 2 years ago, 3 years ago actually, and because of the pandemic, our trip was postponed twice. So I think this year we are going to we are able to go.
Yeah, hopefully, Anselmo, yeah, we finally meet there. Yeah, because it's a dream trip for me as well. Just a dream
Yeah.
for so many years to come there as well.
Okay. And from there, we are going to, I'm going to present Brazil to Daniel. We are going to Lençóis Maranhenses. and then I will try to convince you to start some workshops here too. I think we are going to do that.
We'll do it. We'll do it, my friend.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's a very, very good news to photographers of Brazil. Okay, Daniel, thank you so much again. You have a nice day and a nice time there in Russia, and be safe, and see you later.
Thank you so much. Yes, it was nice conversation, and I also enjoyed it a lot. And good luck to you guys, and don't forget about photography. It's our passion and everything.
Yeah.
So hopefully, yeah, you get some inspiration from this talk as well today. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye, Daniel. Thank you so much. Ok, pessoal. Foi incrível, né? Olha, acho que eu nunca vivi uma experiência tão legal como essa agora, uma entrevista tão fantástica, né? Nossa, que experiência, né? Que portfólio que tem, Daniel. Que bom que a gente conseguiu fazer esse encontro. Foi muito difícil de fazer esse encontro. Eu fiquei muito tempo tentando convencer o Daniel. Não é uma pessoa tão fácil de se comunicar assim. Ele está sempre viajando, mas deu tudo certo e foi um sucesso. Acho que vocês aproveitaram muito, né, dessa entrevista aqui com ele. Eu vou tentar, se eu conseguir traduzir isso nos próximos dias, no futuro, colocar a legenda para vocês, quando ficar disponível o vídeo lá no YouTube. E é isso, estou aqui excitado com tantas maravilhas que a gente viveu nesse evento agora, nesse momento aqui, tá? Legal. Espero que vocês fiquem bem à tarde e aguardem, porque hoje à noite nós teremos o nosso último encontro, teremos uma aula de tratamento de imagem, vou mostrar para vocês umas técnicas muito interessantes do tratamento de imagem, do básico ao avançado. Vamos pegar uma imagem do zero, do raw, crua, e vamos levá-la ao máximo que nós pudermos, tentando resgatar cores, realçar algumas áreas, para deixar ela o mais atrativa possível, certo? Quero fazer isso junto com vocês hoje à noite, e hoje à noite tem a grande celebração do curso, a grande surpresa do curso, e eu espero que todos vocês estejam presentes no final desse evento, para eu poder apresentar para vocês. Então, vamos lá, vejo vocês à noite, um grande abraço, muito obrigado quem pôde ficar aqui, quem não pôde assistir, espalhem esse evento para que as pessoas consigam assistir depois lá no YouTube, tá? Boa tarde a todos, nos vemos hoje às 8 horas da noite. Até lá!